A very warm welcome from the V&G studio in The Hague. We welcome you to this virtual session on solid waste management in 3 countries, Myanmar, Benin and Colombia. My name is Annelies Reseeuw and I will be your moderator of this session. We aim to do this session in 1.5 hours max, and we have 2 of our 4 panelists in the studio and 2 join us online. We will show you some images on the 3 localities, and in case your screen is stuck, please refresh your browser. The same goes for your sound. There is a chat function, and we will, during the session and during the discussion, we will monitor the chat function, and if time allows, we will take your questions at the end of the panel session. All the underlying information and data on the 3 case studies is made available by V&G International. So in case you need to access all the detailed information, please have a look at all the 3 underlying studies. The 3 cities have taken part in the DEALS program managed by Irene Oostveen. DEALS is the Governance of Inclusive Green Growth in Cities program implemented by V&G and financed by the Netherlands government. Irene, could you briefly explain what DEALS is all about and what the DEALS approach has meant for these 3 medium-sized cities?
Yes, thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here and explain that to you because I have been involved from the very start of this program. So I'm actually also a little bit proud of it. The DEALS program was born together with the New World Urban Agenda, which was established in 2016 in Ecuador by UN Habitat. And all these elements of climate change, urbanization, inequality, there was a huge realization that cities need to tackle those topics, and they are very prominent in cities. So we designed a program. Underlying on these agendas is that local governments, where we work for, cannot tackle these issues by their own. So the whole DEALS approach was about how to relate to other stakeholders in your city and work together to manage sustainability, urbanization, and inequality. And in the Netherlands, we have an instrument called City Deals. Thinking about that, we choose the name DEALS to illustrate that partnerships are really necessary to achieve your goals. So that is what DEALS is about.
Okay, yes. And this is also what was prominent in the cases of these 3 medium-sized cities.
Yeah, so that was the great idea was then, okay, you have these huge metropolitan areas, but of course you have many, many medium-sized cities and not necessarily capital cities. So we would like to address the attention to these cities and how they can deal with the big issues in the world. And the nice thing about today is that we actually see cases from 3 different medium-sized cities in 3 different countries in the world. And
yeah, exactly. Okay, thank you very much, Irene, for this small introduction. And as you said, the new agenda in which solid waste management is such a prominent issue anywhere in the world, but also in these 3 countries and these 3 cities. What we will now do is that, first of all, I would like to also underline that the baseline data and all the information that was gathered in these 3 cities was done in line with a World Bank study. The World Bank has been, of course, for ages, for decades, has been studying all kinds of urban issues, but also solid waste management. and solid waste management got their prominent attention in a 2018 study with the title What a Waste 2.0. And that study, which is a huge global study on solid waste management, was the basis to which the researchers in the 3 cities referred, and they used the same indicators as the indicators that were used by the World Bank. And that in itself, I must say, Irene, that in itself, I find with well, my modest experience in urban management and solid waste management, I find that a very laudable achievement. That you were capable in these cities to refer and to use the World Bank study as a basis. What we will now do is that we will first go to the 3 cases, and that we will do in a row. We will present you very briefly the situation in the 3 localities and more or less what was done. Again, you can find all the information in the underlying studies. And we will do the presentations in a row. In the meantime, Irene, I would like to ask you to monitor the chat function so that in case we still have time at the end of the panel, that we will come back to the questions in the chat function. So please feel free to use the chat function. And we will start with a presentation from Myanmar first. So Tiku, I would like to ask you to do the presentation you so kindly prepared on your city, Patain, in Myanmar. The second one will be Benin, will be on Benin, Semepoji, and will be done by Robert, who is here in the studio. And we will end with the presentation from Colombia, Felipe, who's also present in this webinar via an internet connection. So please, Tiku, we will show the presentation. Please go ahead with your explanation to the images that we are showing now.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. Hello all. I'm Nautiku Paul from Patain. Patain is one of the delta cities in Myanmar. So I would like to briefly introduce about the cities and what are the issues first, and then follow up with the actions that will take place within the DEAS project. So Patain is
speak up a little bit.
Oh yeah, can you hear me now?
Is a bit weak.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
A little bit better, but it would be good if you could really speak as loud as you can.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay.
Please. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So Patain is a delta city, and it's the population in Patain city has a population of around 240,000 according to 2017 census, and this is flat areas. And the major problem that you can see in our photos are like unmanaged solid waste, and this is a major issues of the cities. So this unmanaged waste are like a block in drainages and also in every corner of the cities. This is the photo taken before the DEAS project, and you can see that in the middle, the top one is the open dam sites. So this open dam site is now in the center of the cities. before that it's not in the center, but the populations become dense and then it's become in the center. So this is the major problem that the Batang cities face. And then what we do in these projects is like we have a baseline data collection together with one of our stakeholders. This is Batang University. So you can see in the photos that the university students, they are master program students. So they go and collect the data in our pilot locations with the GPS. And then they also go to the household baseline data survey as well. And in the other sides, you can see we conduct a waste audit together with Myanmar. So I think Myanmar also will view this their photos. Yeah. So with Myanmar, we conduct the waste audit in the dam sites, and also we conduct the audit in junk shops. They are licensed to Municipal. In here, we call Township Development Affair Organizations. So we conduct a baseline data and also we conduct a waste audit. After that, in 2017, the stakeholders from local government, they visit to Netherlands, and in 2019, they visit to Mandalay. This is the second capital city of Myanmar. So they explore what Mandalay municipality conduct a waste management. So in the photo, you can see the executive officers of Township Development Organization and also elected chair of the Township Development Committee. They explore about the Mandalay situations through this project. So we also conduct the workshop, several workshops and trainings to capacity building to the local government. So this is one of the photo for revenue collection training. So the officers got the capacity building program, and then with the integrated approach, they also meet with the citizens and listen their voice, and then cooperation with the civil society organizations and some business group to improve the municipal services. After that, we conduct pilot projects. Pilot project, this photo mentioned in Ward 7 and Ward 12. In particular, we have 15 Ward. This is the before coup situations. And we also conduct in Ward 1 and Ward 2 after the, during the coup. So this is, you can see the track. This is, we have only 9 track. The municipal only have 9 track to collect the waste across Batang cities, and it's cover only 51%. And then the drainages blocked with waste have been managed together with the residents in the ward, and then also together with the civil society organizations. So not only this, we also provide organic compost training for, because in Batang, more than 70% is organic waste that reach to the dam sites. So this problem, if we can solve this problem, the waste collection and disposing, this kind of management can be handled a lot. So we assume like that, and then what we do is we provide organic compost training. So most of the ward are produced with the garden yard waste, and also the kitchen waste is also the problem. So the women do organic liquid fertilizer through the kitchen waste, and then in the yard waste, we do organic compost. So you can see the organic waste collection bins that construct with the iron. So in this, we have a green station. So in this bin, Then they will they can draw the yard waste and organic waste and kitchen waste. So we can do organic fertilizer here. And this is the activities of community-based waste management through cash for work program, mainly for women organization. And then the women organization gather the women from the residents of the pilot wards, and then we do a cash for work activities. So uh, so the civil society organizations and also local government got capacity building and then awareness through the DEES project, and also some behavior change through the trainings to the customers and shopkeeper as well in some regarding to some campaign. So these are the brief introduction of these, and then I think we will have more discussion after that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tiku, for this introduction. Very clear, and as you said briefly, and we will certainly come back to a couple of the issues that you have covered in your city. We now go to the presentation on Benin, and Robert Meerman has joined us to briefly present what was done in Benin under the DEALS program. Robert, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Annelies. Good morning, good afternoon to you all. I'd like to briefly present some of the results of the, well, first of all, give you an introduction, but also briefly present to you some of the results that we, and as we, I mean the whole team, I'm presenting it, but obviously it's a team effort that we've been achieving in Benin. Semipoji is a transit city, meaning that it's between the capital of Nigeria, it's between the capital of Benin as well, and it's a rapidly growing city. Currently, there is approximately over 200,000 citizens in Semipoji, so it's rapidly growing city with all its problems that go with it, basically. As you can see, some of the major problems included are illegal dump sites. There is a non-functioning system of waste, and that is basically the situation of a couple of years ago. There is a little bit of doubts. There were some doubts about citizens whether they did really were they willing to pay. The whole chain of waste management wasn't really functioning at the time, so you see that citizens are doubtful of paying for services. And obviously, well, and at the fourth point I'd like to highlight as well is that there's no formal sort of exchange platform between the different stakeholders. And again, that was the situation at the start in 2017, 2018. As you can see, this is the DEALS approach in Semipoji, but I guess there are some other similarities with other cities as well, whereby similar approaches are taken. So I won't go too much into detail in this one, but you see on in the yellow figure that there is citizen engagement, multi-stakeholder platform, but also integral and anti-silo approaches that we have been stimulating using in the DEALS program in Semipoji, exactly. But also in other cities. I'd just like to highlight a couple of major results, and again, this has been a team effort. So I'm presenting on behalf of colleagues, on behalf of city focal points in Benin, on behalf of our équipe focale, as we call it in French, but also the mayor and obviously the citizens. So it has been a team effort, really. But some of the major results include the fact that we have Could you just enlarge the picture a little bit? I think I need to have glasses soon.
Next time.
Yeah. But it's the internalization of the équipe focale. So there is a team that works on this anti-silo way of working. And that has been something that we have been trying to focus on in the deals program quite a bit. And one of the major results now is that this is going to continue also after the deals program. So it's going to be an integral way of working.
Yeah.
Different departments within the commune will continue to work using a new name, but at least it will continue for the coming years. So that is something I think is important of a heritage of the deals program. Another example of, and I think this is a pretty big one, is the formalization of a strategic partnership. So at one point, this wasn't foreseen in our program, but at one point there was a private society set up around waste management. And this has become quite big in the sense that it was not only formed with 5 municipalities around Lac Nakwe, big lake, in Benin, but it's slowly being upscaled, that whole model of working together, and so that society has now received the mandate to operate at national scale, and we've formalized our strategic partnership in such a way that they really see the added value of the role of the municipalities in waste management. I'll probably add a little bit more on that later on.
Yes.
I think this is also quite key, citizen engagement, increased awareness of the importance of waste management. We've been doing, ever since the beginning, some campaigns on the health importance or health risks, but also basically the risks when not doing so, and the importance of being involved in waste management, using cartoons, campaigns, joint activities in several parts of the commune. And I think a last one that I'd like to highlight is, we trained quite and formalized quite a bit some of the waste picker organizations that are key in this process. So we trained them, we formalized them, we made sure that they got their place in this new society that came up. And as you can see as well on the photo on the right, making sure that they are owner and they know where to deposit basically
exactly.
some of the waste.
Exactly.
But again, I'll probably go into more detail later on about.
Okay. Thank you very much, Robert. This has really been another interesting presentation. And I would very much like to come back to you on certain elements that you just now presented to us. We now go over to Colombia, to Felipe, to tell us something briefly on the Pereira case. So Felipe, please go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning to everyone. I will go through, sorry about that. Well, in Pereira, the topic at hand was formalization of waste pickers. There is a national legislation that started in 2016 that promoted this process, where municipalities had to work and promote the formalization of this population. So when the deals program came to Pereira, the process already started. So our contribution was to assist the municipality in this with this philosophy of working with multi-stakeholders and anti-silo. So we pretty much provided support and technical assistance to find partners for the municipality and set up a landscape of trust between the different stakeholders. So when the way speakers in Colombia used to work, and still is the situation in some cases for Pereira, but you will see that the situation has improved a lot. As you can see in the picture, in the top picture in the left, waste speakers used to work behind the waste truck, trying to gather recyclable material as much as they could, or they would be trying to get recyclable from the street, using little cars, their hand, but not using a technical way of doing it. So this was pretty much where we started, and you will see through my presentation how this has improved. So through the process, the municipality has characterized the population, so to get better information of the population we had, the composition of this population in terms of age and gender. We also have helped to provide IDs to all of them, so they get like a proper identification. In this process of formalization, they are on the way of becoming proper waste companies. So they get access to the fee that all citizens pay for the waste service. This process of formalization had included provision of uniforms and improvement of their equipment. Here you see the picture of two of the waste organizations, of the waste speaker organization that are formalizing. One of them is now pretty large. It gathers around 100, a little bit more than 100 waste speakers. Now they have some trucks where they can drive around the city and do their job in a more formal way. We also have some smaller organizations, up to 10 people. So you could see the differences of the issue at hand and the challenges of formalization. But now you can see them working around in proper uniforms and behaving as a company. The process also included a lot of campaigning on education for the citizens. So in one hand, the citizens will sort their waste in a proper manner, so the waste speakers won't have to dig in the trash to get the recyclable material. And on the other hand, the idea is that the waste speakers will be visible to the citizens, and the citizens will recognize them. So here we have a couple of pictures. In two of them, you will see in a campaign that was black and white. The name of the campaign was, in English, will be something like "Smart Citizen will sort at the source." And it was aiming to citizens to sort their waste in a black bag and a white bag. The white one was for the recyclable material, and this campaign took place in different medium. You will see the public transportation bus, that it was completely branded with the campaign, but it will also took place in radio. It was taken to the streets. And this campaigning also included a theater play to educate citizens, and some games, the designing of some games to take in some fairs that took place in public plazas. And in one picture here that you probably will notice a lot of people, and at the back, a logo that says Eco Barrios. It means eco neighborhoods. And there was a contest that is now in its fourth version, where the municipality is encouraging different neighborhoods to compete among them with recycling. So the neighborhood that recycles the most, by handing the recyclable material to the waste picker organizations, will get a prize at the end for their community. And this has led to increased results in the recycling in the recycling rate of the municipality. As I mentioned, some of the activities was about improving their working conditions. So now you see here a picture where they have a tricycle where it's more appropriate for them and they don't have to go with their bags in their back. So when we started, it was estimated that around 117 waste speakers were formalizing. As I mentioned, this is the process of formalization started in 2016, and the implementation of deals in Pereira started in 2018. But by the year of 2021, we estimated that almost 300 waste speakers were in the formalization process. Finally, on this awareness campaign and visibilization of the waste speakers' labor, we worked together with the municipality to paint a big mural in the city in an area where a lot of waste speakers gather together, and the public transport, the main line of the buses of public transport passes by. So we get to see that every single day. And just at the end, just to give you a picture, I won't go in detail in the numbers, but this is pretty much how recycling has behaved in the past years. And you can see here a trend upwards. It has spikes, but you will see pretty much that the recycling is increasing since the program started, which also contributes to improve the income of the recyclers, of course. They have now two sources of income by selling the material that they gather, that they collect, but also because they are becoming waste companies, they get access to the fee of the waste service. So the more that they collect, the better they do it in financial terms. So in summary, here you can focus in the last column probably. We have a summary of the waste production, final disposal in landfilling, and the recycling rates of the city. So by 2018, we estimated a 0.3% of recycling rate. So pretty much all the waste was going to the landfill. And nowadays, by 2021, because for 22 the number will be a little bit higher. For 2021, we estimated 1.8 recycling rate. It's still pretty low, but when you sort of make the analysis of the increase in this for a year, you will see a six-fold increase in the recycling rate of the city. So it's not meaningless.
No.
And that's it. Thank you so much. We will discuss more in detail all these issues.
We will. Thank you very much, Felipe. A very nice presentation on the one of the elements that you have been doing in the deals program in Pereira, namely the formalization of waste pickers. We will now do the panel session with a couple of questions to all three of you, and I will be, especially with the two panelists taking part online, I will be clear in whom I'm asking the question to. First of all, and of course, let me also add, and this is not new to any of you, but I just would like to mention this. During the course of the deals program, of course, especially in Myanmar, the situation changed, and TQ already referred to that in her presentation as well. So all and everything that she presented happened, and that was the situation until the coup, and the situation changed drastically in Myanmar. With that being said, I would like to start off with a question to Felipe first. Could you clarify what was the main solid waste management problem that appealed to the deals approach? And as Irene explained, of course, deals is all about partnerships, looking at the marginalized urban poor, etc., and how this could be strengthened not only for the most relevant stakeholders, but also strengthened institutionally. Felipe, could you elaborate on that, please?
Yes, of course. When the deals program started and the first studies were performed, one of the topics that it was raised immediately was we have a landfill that is coming to an end in the next 5 years probably, because this is the landfilling rate is increasing every single day, or at least the amount of tons taken to the landfill. And this is combined with a vulnerable population that try to recycle, but the recycling rates were pretty low. So you have the two extreme scenarios there. But also, because of the national regulations, the municipalities have the responsibility to help and the recyclers or the waste pickers to conform organizations and become waste companies. And for this, they had a period of 5 years initially, and now it was extended to 8 years. So, but this was pretty new for the municipalities, for the local governments. They were just given the mandate to help them, but not the how and not the money to do it.
No.
So it was a pretty good scenario for deals in the sense that we had a local government finding ways to deal with this. And what was different then is that we started to connect or to help connecting the municipality with national stakeholders as well as with other local stakeholders, all of them interested not only in the formalization of the waste pickers, but also in increasing recycling rates. Because we have legislation not only wanting to improve the conditions of the waste pickers, but also we have legislation in the country that is now making the companies responsible for the packaging that they put in the market. So we have now an extended producer responsibility legislation for all sort of packaging, plastic packaging, cardboard packaging. So you have stakeholders interested in improving recycling, but working in silos. So the new thing definitely for Pereira was bringing them all together to combine efforts, logistic efforts, strategic efforts, but also financial efforts. So for the past 3 years, the municipality has now signed an agreement with a national institution that is called Sempre Colombia, which is promoting the recycling on behalf of private companies. And both parties put money together in the same bag. The municipality, they coordinate the goals that they want to achieve, and the national institutions do the implementation and go on the field to help the waste pickers to improve their conditions.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that, Felipe. So the national context, it was all there with legal instructions, etc. The municipality was left at its own devices to sort this out. And in that context, of course, deals could mean a lot in forging partnerships, helping the municipality, and also the partnership setups that you have been supporting the municipality with. Excellent, thank you. Now to Robert, could you also tell us a little bit more about what was the deals approach focusing on specifically in Benin? You touched upon it in your presentation already, but please go ahead. Tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, thanks, Annelies. Yeah, I think one of the major problems that we focused on in Semipoji is basically the thematic issue of waste management. We would hire a boat. I remember very clearly 4 years ago that we would hire a boat to see the waste being piled up at the edges of the lake. And basically low income households who have been moving from the north would live on and build their
yeah,
houses on
the
the
waste.
waste. So
Yeah.
that is, yeah, typically something that we gathered as a crucial and important topic to work on. So that is, I think, the thematic issue was for us in the DEALS program really important, and with such a multidimensional problem, the DEALS approach was applicable in the sense that you cannot do this by yourself as a municipality.
No.
So per definition, you need multiple stakeholders, but also you would need multiple departments involved in in a company or in the municipality, that you would need to look at this problem from multiple perspectives. And also, obviously, it links with the waste problem links also with health issues, with environmental problems as well. So I'd say that the thematic entry point was an excellent entry point for DEALS to come into Semipoji.
Yeah, thank you for that clarification. As I mentioned, and this is also one of the entry points in the World Bank Water Waste 2.0 study, that solid waste management often is problematic also because decision makers lack the correct data. So that is also what you did in your three localities, and of course with more team members than we are showing you today, is that these in these three cities you gathered data. And Tiku, could you explain a little bit further to what it meant in Kathleen to have these data accessible, which and if possible, but of course, as said before, in Myanmar the situation's changed, but which stakeholders are using these data? Tiku, is your sound on?
Sorry, I cannot hear.
I'm referring to the second question. Having data accessible is crucial, as was also mentioned in the water waste report by the World Bank. And that is, of course, what you did in your city as well, that you started with gathering data. And now with having these data accessible, what difference has that made? And which stakeholders are specifically using these data? It's the second question.
Yeah. Thank you. For the second question about the data, so pre-coup, I would like to explain the pre-coup situation. So the whole range of government actors can use these data. So not only development affairs, in here, in this project we call municipal government, can use these data, but also other relevant stakeholders such as member of parliaments and Ministry of Social Welfare and Department of Irrigation. So also Environmental Conservation Department, they can use this data because these issues have linkages in every sector. And also the citizens and civil society organizations, including the small business sectors to big industry as well. These data benefit for improving solid waste management governance in Patain, to divert the organic waste and to improve municipal waste collection systems. So after the coup, currently, like we are zero contact, zero collaboration with SAC, State Administration Council government, but the data still can use to the citizen and civil society organizations. For example, due to waste audit reports, we can still use the data in cooperation with civil society organizations to make organic compost and to conduct public awareness raising. And the waste audit done before the coup saw regional development affair organization and other local governments adapt some of the recommendation in their short-term plan in solid waste management action plan. So due to the waste audit data and baseline data, the municipal realized they have to focus on awareness raising to the citizens. Before that, they don't have much collaboration with the citizens, and citizens are not much like a trust in them that we conduct the integrated approach. So this is like very much new to them that they like practice this approach and then got benefits from the data and then the project.
Okay. Thank you for answering this question. If I understood correctly, because the sound was a little bit on and off, having gathered the data and having these data sets available underlined the need for governments to raise awareness on waste production among the citizens. Thank you for this reaction. Felipe, over to you. What difference did it make for stakeholders in Pereira to have these data available?
In general, I think the situation of data in Pereira it's quite good. The issue is that it was all over.
Yeah.
And some data was produced at the municipal level, some data was produced by private stakeholders, and a lot of the data is produced by the waste companies, but only reported at the national level, and not necessarily reported to the municipality. So I think the main use for it is to first to have it all together.
Yeah.
So any stakeholder interested in waste management now will have a single source of information, an updated one. And in the case of the local government, we've been in the past year in the process of updating the municipal waste plan.
Yeah.
And for that, this is something that has to be updated every 4 years in Colombia. Every single incoming mayor has to update the plan. And for that, you need to update the baseline of numbers. So definitely for the municipality is the one that benefits the more right now with it in the process of the update of this plan. And we expect, because the article of Pereira was finished almost a year after the other articles. So we are now in the process of spreading the word.
Yeah.
We expect it really gets used by in the new contract that the municipality will sign with Sempre Colombia, this national institution. So now they will have better numbers of the waste speakers and their needs, and actually what the waste situation really is.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for that. And also this highlights that even in Colombia, which is a middle income country, and Pereira is one of their cities, that data were available. But again, the municipality was really struggling with having a complete and an integrated data set, which is now helpful not only for the decision makers, but also instrumental in new partnerships at national level. Excellent. Thank you for that. Robert, over to you. With solid waste management, and it's an issue, of course, everywhere, there's always this tension between short term, long term. Short term, I, as a citizen, want to get rid of my waste. And the municipality thus has an immediate problem and the immediate duty to collect my waste. And the long term, which is of course the environmental effects, etc. And this tension between short term and long term is everywhere. But we see this maybe even more prominently in countries like Benin. And indeed, you already mentioned that some of the people who migrated to Semepoji and who were last to come to the city even resort to waste as kind of building materials for their very modest housing. Could you elaborate on and what I wanted to add to this tension between short-term and long-term is always the other element, and that's also highlighted in the Water Waste 2.0 report, that solid waste management for municipality is a costly affair. And in low-income countries, on average, a municipality, 20%, so 1/5 of its budget goes to solid waste collection. Could you elaborate on willingness to pay for waste collection among the citizens of Semepoji?
Yep. Thank you for the question. It's a good question. I'll try to answer as best as I can. And before answering, I think it's important to highlight a little bit some of the history, let's say, and the process that we have been going through in the last couple of years. And I think it's important to start at to begin with, 2017, 2018 when we started, so 4 or 5 years ago. And we saw, as I briefly also explained, that a lot of waste was being thrown on the streets like that. It was thrown in the lake. You would see, as you say, waste everywhere around the lake boundaries as well. And basically, there was not a priority for waste management in those days. And I think as time went by, I do think that we, with deals, we helped a little bit on putting more awareness on that problem and the eventual problems that it would create on a longer term as well. So we restarted to reinitiated some campaigns that were already ongoing, but we gave it just a little bit more attention. We professionalized it a little bit as well. We held campaigns. We did radio broadcasts, for example. We also removed illegal dump sites. There was a photo in one of the slides.
Exactly.
So by removing the illegal dump sites, you would say that's an easy thing, but you have to give alternatives as well to the people, because if they can't dump illegally, then what's the alternative?
Exactly.
And that's why we created those, also one of the photos, we created some new, again, voluntarily bins, but at least we had to make sure that that alternative was there and that it was also part of the chain. Because if it's not part of the chain, then the bins, the bins will fill up and nobody will pick them up. So that was part of our help, basically, in making sure that people were more aware of that problem, of that immediate problem. And also I think the chain is really important. So from the waste picker, from the citizens basically to the waste pickers, to the cyclists as well, and to the small waste picker organizations, making sure that they all do their little thing in the whole chain, to making sure as well that the trucks, for example, could pick up the waste, could dump it in a collection point, and that actually the collection points were also being gathered and emptied in a larger dump site. And that process is slowly but steadily changing. Again, deals helped in that, but I have to mention as well that the private company that came about 2 years ago also did a lot in that regard. The deals program did make sure to that new society, though, that we explained to them a lot the problems and also the value added of the municipality, because one of the added values of the municipality is that the big national operating society does not know the commune. They don't know the citizens.
No.
That's, I think, one big added value.
Yeah.
And the second one is that the commune or the arrondissement, they know exactly where people live and how people operate.
Yeah.
And the big cars of the society cannot, and I mean the private operator in that sense, cannot always enter into the second and the tertiary streets.
Yeah.
So that also is an added value of the municipality. They can access wherever waste is, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
And in that sense, the collaboration is crucial and also sort of natural, because there's different aspects that either the private operator, the big société can handle, or the local municipality can handle. And that is something that for us was very important. And as to your question of willingness to pay, there was not a payment of whatsoever. People were reluctant as well, because why pay if the waste is not being picked up? So the general habitude would be that, I'm not going to pay for it because it's not being picked up. So why would I?
I do not trust my municipality.
Exactly. And what we do see now is that slowly, I think it started a year and a half ago, is that the chain is working and that people do not have to pay at this moment. So
it's still for free.
It's still for free. And that's done on purpose, because in conversations with this operator, we've been saying, well, let them get used to the fact that it is being cleaned up for free.
Yeah.
But after a year or two of getting to getting to
building the trust between municipality and the citizen.
And that slowly, the idea now is that company is going to charge some fee for that through the water bill or the electricity bill, so that it will be an automatic deduction or add on to the bill. But those plans are still in the making. But at least I think it's also fair, as you say, building trust, and I think it's also fair to start asking for a little bit of payment, but only if you're sure enough to make sure that the whole chain works.
Exactly. And making it part of the electricity bill, water bill. That happens in many countries. I've seen that being done in the Middle East as well. Okay, so a matter of trust. Trust is something that also came up, if I recall correctly, in one of the other presentations. This willingness to pay potential is definitely an issue. And as Robert also highlighted, thanks to a national program which is being implemented now in Benin, the service is still for free. But again, the trust between the municipality and the citizen was really not there. So this willingness to pay is also something which needs to be something that the municipality is trying to gain from showing a decent service. Thank you for that. I would like to go to Pereira, to Felipe. And of course, comparing, but there is no comparison, of course, because as Irene also mentioned, and as we all know, these three cities and these three countries are completely different. But then again, Pereira seems to be the most advanced in solid waste management, etc. But again, also, Felipe, if I may, the tension between short-term and long-term regarding solid waste management to me at least, is very clear also in the Pereira case, where you see that landfilling, thank you again for your very nice study on Pereira, where landfilling is still more attractive than recycling, with all the environmental effects. And as you mentioned, the landfill will very soon be full to its potential. Could you elaborate on that? And again, I know that the recycling rate, and that was your last slide, is already sixfold from what it was. But to be
But
honest,
we are
the
far from.
percentage is still very tiny. Could you elaborate on any policies or anything foreseen to change that situation, Felipe?
Yeah, I will sort of pick up from Robert's
Yeah,
comment, and it's in Colombia, municipalities are sort of short-handed in what they can do
yeah,
regarding the fee for the waste service. We have a national regulation. We actually have an institution at the national level that regulates and set up a specific formula of how waste companies will calculate the fee that they will charge to the citizens for the service, and municipalities cannot affect that.
no,
So up to date, this formula or this tariff structure, it's performed in such a way that landfilling is the preferred method
yeah,
because it's the economical one that is viable.
yeah,
And that puts a lot of limitations to what municipalities can do to invest in promoting recycling. So everything that municipalities do to improve recycling have to come from another back of or another source of financing, not the waste service per se. Uh, and with that scenario, now the situation in Colombia and at the national level, now we are aware all over the country that this is a problem, and
mm-hmm,
landfills are coming to an end, not only the one in Pereira, but all over the country.
mm-hmm,
So this year, this national commission, the regulatory commission on water and sanitation, started some studies on how to change this calculation or this formula to make recycling an activity that is profitable, actually, so that
mm-hmm,
they can compete one another, landfilling with recycling.
mm-hmm.
So this is one of the things that is being done at the national level, but of course it will take a while. These are studies that probably will take a year or two uh, until you get a new formula that all waste companies have to implement. This is one of the elements. The other element is that since 2018, we started to charge a landfilling tax.
Yeah,
And that landfilling tax, even if it's pretty small, is now part of the waste service fee that all citizens pay.
mm-hmm,
So the less that the citizens recycle and hand in to the waste organizations, to the waste picker organizations, the more waste it's going to the landfill and the more they will pay in their fee,
yeah,
basically. So
okay,
indirectly,
yeah,
the citizens get affected by not sorting the waste and
yeah,
providing the recycled materials to the recycling population. So that fee is collected, that tax is collected together with the waste fee
mm-hmm,
altogether, is
mm-hmm,
transferred to the municipality, and then the recycling companies can present projects to the municipality for improving their recycling facilities, their vehicles, everything that they need to improve the service. So
mm-hmm.
they can present projects to the municipality to access
Yeah, yeah,
these sources.
yeah, yeah. Okay, excellent. Thank you. So again, a couple of measures taking place, also because of the prominence of the problem of the landfills and of course the environmental effects. Thank you, Felipe. I would like to go over to Tiku to ask you, Tiku, what was the focus of the awareness raising activities that were taken in Patheng during the DEALS program. Could you please elaborate on the awareness raising activities?
Yeah. So we have been implemented the awareness raising of like solid waste management and waste reduction, such as the reduction targeted to single-use plastic bags, and also the behavior change awareness of consumers and the shopkeepers, and through the campaigning process as well. So another is the awareness raising on composting organic waste and kitchen waste to the women group. And also we provide the awareness raising to civil society organizations about the solid waste management and also water management together with water aid organizations. So all of this awareness is for the purpose of benefiting the stakeholders, that they were fully aware what are the issues that can affect through and manage solid waste and how to reduce it by their knowledge. So we are now in the pilot of women household leaders to produce liquid fertilizer through kitchen waste. And they can sell this, and this waste management is without municipal involvement. So for the financial aspect, we aware the citizen together with the local government and let the citizen knows how less the property tax, which include waste collection tax. In this way, the citizen willing to pay more for the waste collection. So in Patheng, the fees of waste collection is already involved in the property tax that combined with building tax, road electricity tax, and waste collection tax. And the property tax was collected every biannually with a very, very low tax rate.
Yeah.
For example, in the two-story building types, it's only $20 US annually. So this is very low rate. The municipal waste collection cover only 51%, and this is 49% of citizens are not covered in the waste collection plan, so that when we have a municipal stakeholders workshops together with citizens and local government, the citizens are very much willing to pay for the municipal when they increase the rate of the property tax. Specifically for the waste collection fees, they are very much willing to pay for this. This is benefits of these project awareness raising activity as well. And not only the people want to pay for the government, they also want to pay for the individual private sectors. For example, we conduct in a pilot Ward 7. So one lady, she was collected waste by herself around a nearby area, and the residents are willing to pay for her. These are the benefits of the awareness raisings of these projects, and most of the behavior change we got results after the 10 weeks incentive campaigns. So these are the situations of awareness raising in the project.
Thank you, Tiku. Thank you. Very clear on what effect the awareness raising activities had, also specifically on willingness to pay, which is excellent. And as you mentioned, and this is the case in many countries, solid waste collection essentially is subsidized. The costs are so high that often the waste collection fee hardly ever covers the actual costs. I would like to go over to an element that was highlighted in the Pereira case, but also came about in the Semepoji case, Robert. The highlight, the role, the important role, very often overlooked, and I've seen that myself in a couple of cities I have lived so far, the role of waste pickers, whether formal, in the process of formalization, as is already explained in the Pereira case by Felipe, but also very often informal waste pickers. it's a matter of, are they visible? And if they are visible, like we saw now, which is the current stage of formalization in Pereira, with the very beautiful mural that all the citizens pass by. Are they recognized? Do they get political recognition regarding their role in the solid waste management chain? Robert, could you elaborate on that? Is there political will in Semipoji to recognize them, to give them a certain status and respect? And is there a willingness to consider how their activities fit into the financing of the solid waste management chain? Could you?
Yep, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
Again, it's my perspective on the program, so I could obviously be wrong. I could be right, but the short answer would be that at local level there is recognition for waste pickers, but that is more at local level, the way I see it.
Okay.
I think if you sort of scale that up and look from a sort of a helicopter view at sort of national level, to what extent their role or there is political will at that level, I'm doubtful, to be honest. And to give them basically more attention, we did in the deals program help formalize them, because as I said earlier, they are the ones knowing the citizens, they are the ones knowing exactly where to go. They are paid by the kilo as well, so that is an absolute motivation for them to work. And people are currently seeing what it is the waste pickers are doing as the chain is now functioning. We gave them material as well through campaigns, as I said earlier. The importance of their role in the whole chain has become much more visible. And the formalization. So we helped a couple of waste picker organizations file their dossier to make sure that they are a supplier of the national
to give them official status.
And also a certain area which they could operate in. But again, I think they are hugely underestimated at this point. And that was basically the reason for giving them some attention, some material as well, because they don't always have the appropriate material either. And I think an important campaign currently is, and that is a campaign that has been going on, but we have sort of strengthened a little bit, is in French we call it the zéro déchet, so the no waste, whereby basically per area there is a week of no waste organized, whereby the waste pickers are being highlighted, but also the citizens, even the mayor, even the équipe focale, everybody works along and make sure that there's a common effort to clean the streets. So, and then again, that's also where the waste pickers are being sort of highlighted and being
are being visible together with the mayor, which also sort of gives them a higher status.
But it's as far as I can see, it's at the local municipal level where they are being valued.
In contrast to the case of Colombia, where national legislation is there now, more or less forcing or helping or inducing the formalization of waste picker organization in the country. So that was in that national context in Colombia, of course, that it was conducive for the deals program to also go with that and support that formalization process. Now looking at the deals program, and the deals program has been a 5-year program, will come to an end later this year. What changes are embraced institutionally? And I'm now looking at Felipe. Felipe, could you highlight some of the changes that came about thanks to the deals program and this partnership approach with a lot of stakeholders also in your city. And could you give an example of such a strengthened partnership thanks to the deals program? Felipe?
Yeah, I think probably the best example and the best outcome that I can highlight is the partnership between the local government and Sempre Colombia.
Yeah.
This national institution. It's definitely an example in the country of how local government, at the public sector at the local level, can work with the industry at the national level for a common goal.
But
And
it is a complex matter for a municipality to enter into a partnership with a national operating company, I imagine.
it was very difficult at the very beginning. The first year they signed a contract. The deals provided a lot of technical assistance with experts on public contracting, experts on waste management. So everything could come together, basically. The municipality, it was also a matter of building trust on how to put public money together with private money on a vulnerable population that probably is not so good on handling finances. So yes, at the very beginning, a lot of technical assistance were required in legislation, in contracting, but you can notice now that the following years of the contract, the more or the less they have needed assistance from deals, they have learned how to do this together. So I want to think and I believe that this process will be sustainable. Without the need of deals.
We join you in believing that, Felipe.
No, and like the last year, definitely we didn't intervene that much.
Okay, good, excellent. That's the way it should go with a program ending this year. Thank you for that. Maybe Tiku, I know we all know that the situation changed drastically in Myanmar, but could you give us an example of what is now embraced institutional? So for example, could you give us an example of a strengthened partnership in Pathain municipality?
Yeah. So we already saw success in before coup is increased collaboration within intergovernmental department. So before that, the departments are not much cooperate with each others. Although they have the same issues to solve together. But because of the integrated approach and multi-stakeholders involvement, so we see the success is the increased collaboration within intergovernment department and also government and the citizen collaboration. But unfortunately, partnership between township development that municipals and citizens has not been restored due to the coup within this situation. So the changes we make are not much embraced institutionally yet because we have zero collaboration with SAC government.
Currently.
Beforehand, we have a progress in waste management strategies.
Yeah. Well, we will definitely hope. We definitely hope for the best, and that this situation will one day change in Myanmar, of course. Robert, over to you. What was embraced institutional? Could you highlight one of the elements? The one I really spoke to me was the commission, the committee.
The Commission Communal.
Yeah,
that is.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the examples that I can surely elaborate on. It's in the beginning of the deals program, we set up this équipe focale, so this focal team that would look at waste management from a multi-perspective view. And as I think time grew by, also our city focal point, Gilles, helped a lot in giving, as also Felipe was saying, giving a lot of advice, giving expert input. And I think slowly but surely, this is something that way of working has slowly captured the imagination and the conviction of basically of the mayor as well.
Good.
Seeing that, hey, this is a way of working that has benefits. And he confides to us, I think it was December last year, that he basically said, well, okay, we'd like to continue using this commission communale. So basically
Good.
this functioning of this équipe focale in our regular budget lines as well. And we'd like to continue working in such a way on solid waste management, but possibly also other thematic issues. I don't know about the latter, but that's...
okay, good.
It surely was, I think it's a strategic and sustainable solution as well, that at least the way solid waste management is looked upon will be continued by the municipality. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. And this is also, it's similar as in the case of Patijn, where Tico highlighted that, in fact, linking those different departments dealing with solid waste, and that this is now formalized in a committee is something which we are really happy about, and especially if the politicians, of course, also are at the back of such initiatives and will continue using such a committee. Now, first to Tico. If you were now in power, the one who has decision power over your city, what decision would you now take regarding solid waste management in your city, based on what was done, based on the data that were gathered during the deals program? What decision would you now take first? Tico.
Yeah, let me assume I'm the mayor before the coup. Otherwise, I will be arrested because I'm elected I'm elected from citizen. What I like very much in the D's project is I wish to continue with the integrated approach. This worked very well. Because, for example, in the pilot project that we conduct, we work together with member of parliaments, civil society organizations, and different departments together and also ward-based groups, and also together with like a business sector also involved. So all of these sectors involvement makes power of changes. Yeah. So in the water trap, this is very flooding area. Every year flooding, and the water cannot flow because of the drainages are blocked. So this part of counterpart stakeholders work together, and what we see the effect now is it's not flooded anymore, and the residents live in there are very much happy, and thanks to the approach. Okay. So I would like to continue working. This is very much in line with the thing because we are very much in lowlanded area.
Yeah.
So I will continue working this integrated approach because I see fruitful results.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for that. No drastic changes, just continue in this integrated approach, which is so crucial to the complex issue of solid waste management, which affects all issues of life. Felipe, what would you decide if you were, let's say today, mayor of Pereira?
I think I will decide to invest more on recycling and setting up more like better conditions of warehouses with proper equipment for recycling, improving the vehicle fleet. Um, even these marginal investments, because they have been small in comparison to actually what running a waste company, a large waste company, the landfills is. These marginal investments have proven fruitful.
Yeah.
So definitely, I will double, triple, or even more the investments of the recycling facilities, because it proves that it works.
Yeah. And apparently, and that was also something which was prominent in a couple of the other VNG projects which we have been doing on solid waste collection. Apparently, in Pereira and in Colombia, the market for recyclables is there.
It is.
It is.
It is, and there is a need of the industry for the recyclable material now, given this new context of extended producer responsibility on packaging.
Exactly. Yeah.
So there is a need for the recyclable, but
Yeah.
there is still a market that is very informal.
Yeah.
And
And too many recyclables end up in the landfills.
most of them.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Felipe. And you, what about you, Robert?
Yeah,
Today you are mayor of Semipodi. What would
Okay.
be your decision?
Well, I agree with Felipe on that point. Recycling needs much more attention. And the other point I'd like to make is willingness to pay for the citizens. I think it's, the sensitization campaigns that people do need to chip in for solid waste management is important, so that it becomes sustainable on in a financial way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for this. I have one bonus question, and now I go back to the World Bank Waterways 2.0 study, which I can really recommend for those interested in solid waste and who may not have heard about this study. And of course, this is one of those ongoing World Bank efforts. A bonus question for Felipe. Do you have any recommendation to the group of researchers behind the water waste study of the World Bank? What could they do differently next time?
This is a tricky one. I don't want to step in anybody's foot.
No,
But
don't be modest. Don't be modest.
but it is my impression that they rely a lot on the national reportings
Okay.
when building the report. So basically, seems like they ask the countries for at the very national level, at the national government, what data they have available. They report it and they standardize it. And waste management is an issue that it's handled at the municipal level. Every local it is, and every local government or every municipality has a different context. So I think it is not really fair to set up an average for every single country, and this is the situation of my nation. I think I will try to dig deeper, or the recommendation is go a little bit deeper into what the municipalities have, the information they have available there, and if feasible, try to take into account the geographical and economical context of a country. In the case, Colombia is a very large country with very different regions. And some regions like Pereira, we have it where or those cities in the Andes Mountains that are in the center of the country have collection rates of 100%. That won't be the situation if you go to the coast and the desert, or if you go to the Amazon. So definitely try to take into account the local context.
Yeah, thank you for that. Of course, we in this room working with and for local governments all agree with your recommendation. I don't know whether the researchers would really welcome it, because it's, of course, already a huge effort they are undertaking. I'm now looking at Irene. Any chat functions? No questions? Then I would like to thank you very much for attending this webinar. Please have a look at the underlying 3 studies. Also, there is a summary report that summarizes the 3 case studies. And all these are available from VNG International. And I'm looking at Irene. The links are also in the chat function currently. I would also like to thank the studio technician, Bas. You have not seen him, which was good, because everything functioned excellently. Thank you very much, Bas. My final remark is only an advice. Please remain on the lookout for similar events VNG is organizing with a lot of information. VNG makes all the information available, mainly also through the website of VNG International. I would like to end with an end tune, a very nice, small 2 minutes video on Pereira, one of the women recyclers doing her tour through the city center. Once again, thank you very much.
Me llamo María Consuelo Henao Londoño y llevo 10 años de reciclar. ¡El reciclaje! Gracias.
Nosotros le compramos el reciclaje a las mujeres, más que todo las personas que vienen acá son mujeres cabezas de hogar. Mujeres que son muy emprendedoras, como es doña Consuelo, y la labor que hace es muy bonita porque ella está ayudando al medio ambiente y desde que ayuda al medio ambiente puede subsistir del reciclaje.
Para mí reciclar es como las botellas de gaseosa, el cartón, aluminio, chatarra, cubetas de huevo, cositas así que es reciclaje, pero no es, prácticamente es basura lo que le dan a uno. De a veces le echan a uno rollos de esto.
Esa es la importancia de que las personas lo hagan desde la fuente, de que ellos no tienen que meter la mano a la basura, sino que ya todo está separadito.
¡Reciclaje! ¡Reciclaje!